and I had no other options. And I felt very vulnerable, and I just, with every ounce of breath that I had left in me, I just said, Jesus, Jesus. I wanted to keep saying his name, and the third time, I had no more breath left in my body. My name is Aaron Robbins. I grew up in Markham, was raised in a split family, a divorced family, a single mom. My dad was definitely a part of my life. He was more the spiritual leader of the family, a pastor, a minister, missionary, but I was only got to spend, limited time with him, every other weekend and, one day during the week. My time at home with my mom, although she's a strong Christian, she was busy being a single mom and working. So I got all my, I guess, spiritual knowledge or within Christianity through my father, my dad, in limited amounts. So back in 1997, got married, and right after we got married, moved out west to BC just for adventure. My wife and I both loved it out there, the scenery, the lifestyle, ocean, mountains, and I was also really into mountain biking, and that was a passion of mine. I wanted to explore that out there with all the mountains and trails, and enhance my lifestyle with that as well. Got out there in 97. We had 2 girls born out there, and without any other family around, they were kind of like orphans on the West Coast. And ultimately, 10 years later, we decided to move back closer to family. It was important to have grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins around. So we moved back to Ontario. I had quite a racing career out there in mountain biking, so I was very fit. And I brought that back, but by the time I got back, I was more recreational riding at that point. Being back in Ontario, for quite a few years, working every day, stressful jobs, trying to, keep getting established here in Ontario again. It was time, I think, for a vacation. And we didn't vacation much because we had so much adventure out west, just weekend adventure and racing circuit. But out here, not having that outlet, I felt that it was time just to relax. Give my girls also a different cultural experience in a trip. Getting out of the country, someplace completely new. So we decided, and most reasonable price as well, the Caribbean. So, it was winter, cold winter. We decided in February to head to Cuba, a reasonable resort and a reasonable place to vacation. Sunny, beautiful beaches, completely different culture as well. And I was really hoping that my daughters would get exposed to more cultural things, different lifestyles and demographics and economic hardships as well, and kind of see, the other side of the coin in a way. So we headed down there in February to get away from the ice and snow up here. And it was just a father-daughter trip at that time. My wife was starting a new job, and we had a dog that definitely needed one of our family members to be with it. So my wife, not being a beach person as well, just decided to stay home and say, look, you go with the 2 daughters and go have fun, enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you when you get back. So arrived in Cuba at our resort, beautiful beaches. We had a really great time. Decided one day, this is sort of a precursor to what had happened. And we were walking on the beach one day, just exploring, looking at crabs and fish and little pools and enjoying the ocean breeze and that. And we got out far enough that it was getting close to lunchtime. We thought we should probably head back, and started heading back. And my girls said, yeah, go ahead, have fun, go on your own. I'll just walk in solitude. And But walking back, my legs just felt so heavy. And I was struggling. Seemed like I was struggling breathing a little bit, like trying to catch my breath. And I was wondering, is it heat exhaustion, or is the sun too intense? It was very windy that day too. I just didn't know why I was struggling. It was concerning. And I actually waved to my girls because they looked back, and waved them back to me, and they came back and I said, "Oh, what's wrong, Dad?" And I said, "I don't know, I'm just not feeling good. I'm very tired." And they said, "Oh, okay, well, we can slow down and walk with you." And I said, "That's fine." And after just a few minutes, though, it seemed like I kind of recovered and continued to walk back to the resort. But when I got back, I was very exhausted, very tired. I don't know what it was. I just said, "Look, I gotta kind of take it easy. I'm gonna rest. I'm sure I'll be fine." And so the rest, and we have a big day tomorrow because we have an excursion to go on, a full day excursion that we're very excited about. And I just wanted to rest. And so I rested. Things seemed to be normal. We woke up early the next day and early breakfast. I was still not feeling 100% myself, just because I was still a little bit thrown from what happened the day before and why I was so exhausted. I don't know, but I was determined to have a good fun day for everybody. We went on the Jeep Safari excursion, which was a full day excursion, off-roading, driving up into the mountains, horseback riding, mangrove forest boat ride, which we never got to. After the horseback riding, we went back to have lunch, and we're driving into the city of Moran. And just outside of Moran, driving, enjoying the scenery, I felt a palpitation in my heart. And I've had palpitations before, but they were never of concern because they would only last just a few seconds, and then I'd cough or whatever, and it would just disappear and, continue on like that nothing had happened. This palpitation, it wouldn't leave. It just stayed, and it was like a butterfly fluttering in my chest. I didn't know what it was or why it was happening like that. It never did that before. And I started sweating and feeling anxious, keeping track of my breathing as well. I was getting, you usually shouldn't have to think about your breathing, you just breathe, but I was actually thinking about my breathing, so something was up with my breathing as well. It was almost like a panic attack, an anxiety attack that I was going through. Might have been that I was on this trip alone with my daughters. I don't know what it was, but all this was going through my head. I turned to my one daughter in the passenger side of the Jeep, and I said, "Look, I think I'm having some kind of a panic attack or anxiety, or something's happening, and I just don't feel right." And she was supportive, said, "Don't worry, Dad. If you have to pull over, do so. Go ahead." And I just wanted to give her a heads up in case I had to pull over, give her a reason why. And anyway, continued. I was driving, did not know what was going on. I was starting to struggle a little bit. And then just entering the city limits of Moran, it progressed, and I started to get like tunnel vision. And it started kind of closing, darkness started kind of closing around my vision. And I thought, oh boy, this isn't good. I'm driving too. This is progressing into something I don't know what's going on. Pulled into a street following a train of other tourists and Jeeps and that. And the emergency, or if you have an emergency or problem, you're supposed to pull over, put the emergencies on, and wait for assistance. That was the signal for other Jeeps to stop, knowing that there was an issue. So pulled into the city street. there's people all around, there's dogs on the street, there's chickens running around, and I just found a clearing opened up just so I could pull off. And pulled off to the side, and I put it in the standard gear into neutral, and then I had just enough in me to hit the four-way emergencies. As soon as I hit my four-way emergencies, the blackness came in and completely took over, and I was out. I was gone. And I don't know what happened, how long it was. I believe it was maybe 2 to 3 minutes. After speaking to other people and my daughters who witnessed it, it was probably about 2 to 3 minutes that I was blacked out, struggling, making gargling noises, not breathing, turning blue color, purpley blue. Also, blood pressure went practically to zero because my skin started to collapse in, and they were freaking out. And some people came up to the Jeep. They weren't sure if I was breathing. They weren't sure if I was, and my heart was still beating or not. My daughter was then, because she couldn't get the answers that she was asking, and nobody was, stepping up. I don't know if he's breathing. I don't know if, they didn't know what was going on. She got stepped out of the Jeep to come around to my side to pull me out to start CPR. Just as she opened the door to get out, I came back. I came to. That time that I was in that state, I don't remember anything. It was just black. Nothing. I just know that I came to, and there was lots of people standing around asking how I was, what happened. I was definitely shaken, but completely and utterly stubborn, because the tourist guide offered to take me to a hospital. Last thing I wanted to do was go to a Cuban hospital on my vacation after such a fantastic day. I thought it will correct itself. It was just anxiety. I had some palpitations, my blood pressure was off, and everything will go back to normal, and we can continue on our day. That's what I was hoping for. So we went to a restaurant. It didn't quite happen that way. My heart was still fluttering. I could still feel the palpitation. But I was too stubborn and thinking that it would eventually go away and everything would resume to normal. I didn't eat much. My wife got on the phone with my daughter because they connected, and basically I got told to go get it checked out. It was not normal, something more serious. Hospital was close by, just go get it checked out. After being told, I succumbed and said, yeah, you know what, let's go get this checked out. It might be nothing, and I'll have done what I was told to do. I had got to the hospital, walked around the hospital barely, because I was having really trouble breathing at that point. Got in the hospital. The tour guide was amazing, Rosemary, and she got, everybody was Spanish speaking. I did not speak Spanish. She got the right people there for me. She got me into his ECG room, and they took an ECG of my heart. It was around 3:30 in the afternoon at that point. And this is about 2 hours, almost 2 hours, since everything started. ECG reading came out, and I did not see it, but from the expression on the technician's face, it was not good. She just looked at me and kind of shook her head and frowned, and almost like, oh boy, this guy's in trouble. And then I felt more serious and a little bit more despair at that point, because it did not look good. It wasn't like, oh, you'll be fine, everything looks good. No, it was more serious than that. They said, we're going to be moving you up to the foreigners wing. You're going to be admitted and checked out. So on we go up to the foreigners wing, and much nicer area of the hospital. It was very acceptable. Nurses were very kind, got me into a room. The tour guide, Rosemary, was there. My daughters were there. I was sitting on the examination bed, and they were asking me questions, and palpitations were still going. I was still able to talk, but feeling very uncomfortable, sweating a lot. I was also, it's hard to keep concentration when you're going through all that as well. My stomach was very upset at that point, and I threw up a couple times. I don't know if it was just nerves. Nurses were all in there waiting for the doctors to come in. Doctors eventually made it in there. When they arrived, my records from the ECG and everything got passed over to them. They had a look at them. At that point, the nurses then ushered my daughters out of the room. I don't know where they went at that time. And then it was just myself, 2 doctors, and about 4 nurses, I believe. I think there was an orderly in there as well. Just asked me questions about the palpitations, what had happened leading up to that point. I do believe the doctors, after looking at the ECG and that, they knew exactly what was happening with me. They knew what my condition was and what I was dealing with. They then took off all my rings and shoes and glasses and everything and started, I guess, a more formal examination. I sat back into the bed, and this room, I want to back up, it was very bright. It was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a very sunny day in the Caribbean. There were windows in the room. The room was, fairly bright. And the doctors, the windows were behind the doctors, up above high. There were high windows. They weren't type of windows that you could just, look out. They were like higher up towards the ceiling, but still bright. And the doctors and the nurses surrounded my bed. The one doctor was trying to check for a pulse on my wrist and my neck. And then they put oxygen tubes in my nose to help me with breathing. When I did sit back and lie down, my breathing changed a lot. I was actually struggling to breathe. Not so much breathing, but getting oxygen. It felt like I was not getting enough oxygen. And that was alarming and distressful for me. When I did sit back and had trouble breathing, the oxygen there, it tried to help, but it just wasn't. I was looking up at all the doctors and nurses surrounding my bed, and I started to lose the feeling in the extremities, my toes and fingers, and quite rapidly, that loss of feeling, I could feel it traveling all up my legs and down my arms, all up towards my chest. So the pressure that he had on my wrist, trying, get a pulse, and he kept trying to look. He had strong hands. I lost the feeling of his hand on my wrist. And just before, as it got up towards my chest, this loss of feeling, that's when I looked up. I was up looking at all the nurses, and probably a little bit desperate looking. They all started going blurry. So their facial features, it's almost like, you take off your glasses and you can't see like distinct outlines. They all started going blurry and losing the features of their face. And right at that time, from within the room, behind the nurses, behind my bed, at the feet of my bed, in that area, this intense bright light just exploded in the room. And the bright light engulfed, the whole room engulfed me. And I was blind by the light, basically. I couldn't see anything. Everything disappeared, and I was in floating white, kind of opaque light. And I was like, what the heck just happened? I can't see anything. And I couldn't feel my wrists, my body. Last thing I could feel, I could feel my chest kind of going up and down, like breathing a little bit. And then that stopped. I couldn't feel that anymore. I couldn't feel my chest going up and down, my breathing. Last thing I felt was my lips. And I could feel them because I could feel bubbles in my lips. And almost like foaming. And I thought it was kind of funny, kind of humorous. I was like breaking bubbles in a way in my lips and wondering what the heck was going on. And it was so different from what I've ever experienced. I've never been in that situation before. At that point, I was fearful. I knew I was in trouble and something not normal. And the only thing I could think of in that moment, last thing I could do was call out to Jesus. And I had no other options. And I felt very vulnerable. And I just, with every ounce of breath that I had left in me, I just said, Jesus, Jesus. I wanted to keep saying his name. And the third time, I had no more breath left in my body. It just extinguished, my breath extinguished. I didn't get his full name out. And at that point, the bubbles were gone. I couldn't feel anything. And that was just my consciousness floating in this white light. I think I was still in my body, but everything was white. And I was calm after that because all the distress had gone away. My breathing was never an issue anymore. It was just calm and peaceful. And I was just sitting here thinking, okay, well, what next? I hope that they're doing something. I don't know what they're doing out there, but they're still surrounding my body. I hope they're doing something to get me back. You know, are they going to do CPR? Are they going to be giving me a shot of something? Are they hooking me up to something? Or, you know, why am I'm still alive, but I just can't see anything. I'm blind. And I didn't know what was going on. So I was just kind of floating there in my consciousness and calm, just hoping that the situation would turn around and they'd get me back, my vision would come back, and everything would be normal again. Wishful thinking. So, very calm though. There was no pain involved. What I didn't know is that as I was in that calmness, and I found this afterwards when I read the medical reports, my body was shutting down and I was turning blue. I was seizuring as well and convulsing, and the bubbles were foaming, and but all that craziness was happening to my body, but I had no recollection of that, of where I was. I was calm and I didn't know that was going on. So they must have been pretty stressed in seeing this man dying from the outside. Meanwhile, I was just very calm and peaceful, my consciousness. And as I was there, I wasn't there that long in that state. I'm thinking maybe 30 seconds, and wondering what's going to happen next. I'm still here. I'm still alive. What's going on? And that's when everything started to change drastically. And this is a hard thing to understand, but your consciousness, I experienced two different consciousnesses in two different times in two different places. So my soul kind of split, and I'll try to explain that as best as possible. As I'm in that white light, I felt this gravity, this pull, like being on like an amusement ride, like being pulled like G-forces. I was feeling this pull, like almost into a vacuum. And it was my spirit, my soul lifting out of my body. And it was kind of humorous. It didn't hurt at all, but it was a sudden release. And when my soul released out of my body, it almost was like a pop sound, and the release was absolutely instantaneously, and I shot out of my body. And normal, like people that have NDEs and that, you read about them, they're in the hospital room, they're floating over their body, watching everything going on, recording it. I guess my soul wanted the heck out of there, and because I shot out like a cannon. And when I shot out, it was a release, and I had no recollection of my body whatsoever. And colors and lights were streaming by. I was traveling so fast, and I came to the realization, I said to myself, I was like, wow, I just died. And I knew I just died. And I was in somewhere completely new and foreign to me. So colors and cosmos and like lights flashing by. And when I stopped traveling, when I felt myself stop traveling, all I could see in front of me was the whole earth. I was out in outer space. I was outside of the earth, outside the atmosphere, and I could see the whole earth in dark space all around it. And quite beautiful. Yes, it is round for those flat earthers. Sorry to burst your bubble. But I was just there, and I felt a presence with me. I never felt alone. I felt like, okay, I'm just floating here. That's really weird. It's a really cool image from outer space. And I just, at that time, then I just shot down, like, Google Earth type thing. I shot down, and next thing you know, I was like right beside my wife back in Ontario. And she was driving her car up a common street near our house. And I just was right beside her, and I just had this realization in my soul, in my consciousness, that, you know what, she'll be okay. She'll be upset about me not being there, but at the end of the day, she'll be able to move on. She's a strong woman, and she'll be able to move on and live a life without me. Not wantingly by any means, but I knew that she would be okay. And then I had a slight thought about my daughters, and I thought, wow, they might have a harder time with it. They'd probably not be okay with it. But then after I had that thought, I zoomed right back out again above the earth. And then the earth, a few seconds later, it just shot away. It just completely disappeared, like faster than the speed of light. It just kept going smaller, but just completely. I don't know if I moved or it moved, but it just shot away and completely disappeared and was gone. It was almost like closing that chapter of my family and Earth is now gone, and it's no longer part of my life. And so that was one experience, and it looped back into my other experience, the two different timelines. So the other timeline, I'll start right back, we're in that whiteness on the hospital table, examination table. That whiteness then started, and I was sitting there thinking, what's happening next? It started moving and started changing color. That whiteness started to change a hue to more of a golden hue. And then it started moving, and everything around me started moving. And then clouds formed around me, and these beautiful billowing golden clouds were swirling and swirling around me, and I was in them, and it was all up close, like I was standing in this billowing golden clouds, and all I could think is, wow, it's so beautiful. And I was so calm and peaceful, and it was quite an experience, and of beauty too, calm beauty. And I was just kind of floating there and still waiting, because what's going to happen next, kind of thing, and I'm enjoying the clouds. And through the clouds, I could start to see an entity or something moving behind the clouds, and it was an energy. It was a round, almost like a teardrop energy, and energy emitting from this circle, and within that, this circle, this energy was swirling, and it was like a marble, and all these swirling colors going around, and it was like reds, blues, purples, and interesting color was like a mercury, like a silver chrome color, swirling around in this energy, and the energy, you could see a radiance emitting from it, and it was just there, and it was floating there in front of me, little distance, and all I could think, I was watching it, and all I could think is, wow, aren't you beautiful? And it stopped its movement, and then it changed direction and left, and then just disappeared. But I never felt it was an entity. Changed direction. It was calm, peaceful, beautiful, and it reacted to me as well. It was responsive to me and my thoughts. Then again, I was there alone in these billowing clouds, and I guess I turned to my left, and there was open space and stars and everything there as well. And I felt this incredible sense of peace just come right over me. It was like euphoric, and it was making me laugh, the peace of not having any connection to earth or any drama, family, financial, everything was gone. It was just my consciousness existing, and I can't describe the peace. There was a physical feeling to it, like a tingling physical feeling to the peace as well, and it was euphoric. But here on earth, if you get euphoria, it kind of ramps up, and then you got the low, it comes down again. This just stayed up there, and that's what I just couldn't help but laugh out of joy of this peace. And I asked myself, and I said, oh, how long is this going to last? Because I want this all the time. This is great. When I asked myself in my thoughts, how long is this going to last? All of a sudden, my consciousness just shot out. Speed of light again, and I was just flying through space. I don't know where it was, but all these colors, like cosmos, started flying by, stars. I was in a tunnel, and I was traveling through this tunnel, uninhibited, speed of light type thing. And you ever get that feeling where you don't know where you're going, but you keep going, and you get to the point where you don't know the way back, and you get a little bit apprehensive? I was thinking, wow, I don't know how I'm traveling, where I'm traveling to, but I'm going pretty far, pretty fast. And I got that little bit of apprehension that maybe I should think about turning back or not going so far. As soon as I had that apprehension and that inkling that I should go back, instantaneously, snap of a finger, I was back in those golden clouds again. And I thought, wow, that was quite the trip. That was amazing. Again, floating there, what's next? And that's when God showed up. At that point, this incredible bright light showed up, and from my bottom right-hand corner of my vision, and it quite rapidly, quite quickly, it just engulfed everything around me, and it blinded out the clouds, disappeared, and next thing you know, I'm in that bright white light again. But this light was very different. It had emotion to it, it had feeling to it, and it just radiated love. It radiated this incredible acceptance and tingling feeling through every part of my being. It's like getting an x-ray shoots through you. It's like this light just shot right through me and touched every part of me. And all I can describe is that it was a feeling of love, and it was so overwhelming and incredible. You just smile, you just laugh, you just accept it, and I just knew, it was like, oh wow, okay, this this has got to be God. This has got to be either Jesus or God, because nothing else can emit this kind of love, and have this kind of power. And that was my only thoughts. I just knew it was, I'll say God. And at that point, I still kind of had this inkling that God can do anything. Maybe it's not my time. I still felt alive. I still felt like perhaps I'd have a chance to go back. I don't know. And I went to speak, say something, kind of plead in a way, but I had no mouth. I have no body at that point. It's just my consciousness. So I tried to speak physically, but there's nothing there. I couldn't speak. There was no vocal cords. There was no lips. There was no breath in me. And I said, oh, okay, that didn't work. Up until that point, I was just thinking. It's my consciousness. And just, I just knew that, prayer. I just had to pray at that point. And so through like a prayer-like communication, telepathy, I said to God, I said, look, I don't think it's my time. I haven't even been baptized yet. And it's kind of funny, I had a baptism. I chose to get baptized, even though I was 46 years old. I chose to get baptized a month later, and it was scheduled. And it's like, wait a minute, I have this thing scheduled. I have this thing to go to, and it's for you, God. Like, send me back so I can get baptized and fulfill this. But after I pleaded, I knew it didn't work, because I was then pulled even faster towards God. And so whatever I pleaded, the baptism, no, not going to work. You're coming with me, even closer, faster, and it was rapid. I could feel the movement. And as I was moving, it was almost like I was tumbling around. I was like swirling around in this white light. And the intensity of the love just increased over and over and over again. The closer and closer I got to God, and closer I went towards this light. And I was thinking, and then God put a thought in me, a telepathy. It's not a voice. It's a thought in your head that is placed there. And the thought where God communicated to me was, which way do you want to go? And that popped in my head, that question. But not understanding telepathy and all that kind of stuff, I questioned, because it's a thought, there's no voice to it. I was thinking, did I just think that, or was that a question that asked, did God ask me a question? And when I was asking that train of thought then got interrupted with another question, which way do you want to go? It's like, whoa, wait a minute. A thought just got interrupted by another thought? I can't do that. That's God asking me a question. I'm thinking, wow, that's the second time God has asked me that. I better not have him ask a third. I better answer. And all during this time, I'm getting closer and closer into the light. And that feeling, that intense feeling of love was increasing and increasing. And to the point where I started laughing out of joy. And it was incredible feeling. And it's a feeling you just want to last forever. And I was thinking in my mind, I'm kind of done with Earth, and I'd rather not go back to it, because I'm loving where I am now, and this feeling of love is so incredible. I want to see what's next. And that's where my thought was going, and where I was heading in my decision of which way do I want to go. And just before I was going to answer and saying, you know what, take me, I'm ready to go, that type of thing, all of a sudden this screen showed up in front of me, like a movie screen showed up in front of me, and all I could see were my daughters. And they were in the hospital, back in the hospital in Cuba. And my youngest daughter was in a blue chair sitting down, sorry. And my oldest daughter was on her phone texting, and I could just see the worry and the concern that they had in their face, the stress that they were under. And that just broke my heart. I was like, oh man, I can't leave them. I have to be with them, kind of thing. And I just settled, my conscience, I just settled my nerves, my thought. I kind of went quiet and I just prayed. I just prayed saying, you know what, if it's my time and if you really need me, then I'm willing to go. But if it's not my time and if you don't really need me, then I need to be with my girls. They're alone in a foreign country. They need me and I need to be with them. And as soon as I said them, quicker than a snap of the finger, quicker than it was almost like my life was like a thread. And God just went, because it was that quick. I was, bam, back in the hospital in Cuba, back in the examination room. And I opened my eyes. And the very, very first thing I felt and realized is that my heart was back in rhythm and normal. And I was out of the arrhythmia that I was in. And I just had this feeling, it's like, wow, okay, I'm going to be okay. The light, when I turned in my bed, I looked up, and there was one nurse in the room, just one nurse. And she wasn't paying attention to me. I don't know what she was doing there. I don't know, maybe she was at the end of my bed praying for me. I don't know. But all the doctors and all the other nurses had left the room. The lights were turned off, and there was a metal gurney beside me, so I'm waiting for my body. And when I turned to the lady, the nurse at the end of the bed, I just turned, with a smile, I waved her, I went, hola. And she just about jumped out of her skin. She was so startled. But after that startle, this huge smile came across her face. Huge smile, just beaming. And then she ran out of the room and tried to get people to come in. And the room was actually dark at that point. The sun was setting. It was dusk. And I think dusk, around there, it was around 7:30 at night. So when I went in at 3:30, so there was like 4 hours there that all this happened. I was very calm at that point. So I didn't have any other questions or concerns with my health at that time. I knew I was good. I knew I'd come through an amazing adventure, have a real increased sense of faith to the point where I feel God's presence more often. If I just almost like meditate or take myself back to that moment with God in that light, in that love, and I reminisce on that, I get a sense of God's presence with me like instantaneously. The time that I was there was so freeing and so peaceful and unencumbered, compared to here in this sluggish body of weight and sometimes illness and that, and there's a heaviness here, and it's very, very different. I would much rather be in the spiritual realm. It's such a freeing, existence. Such a freeing existence, unencumbered movement. There's a lot more emotion there, and the emotions have more feeling there as well. Everything here seems kind of sluggish and surface, very surface here. It's very different. I'd much rather prefer the afterlife. Since the experience, I've had this heightened sense of like my faith has grown immensely, unencumbered. You know what, I mean, after what I went through, and everybody dies, I think about that often. Nobody wants to die, but I'm okay if I did die. I know where I'm going to be all right. Just, I don't like the idea of my family going through trauma of my passing and not being here, and the sadness, and coping through life without a father and without a husband. That's what you know keeps me grounded here. But otherwise, yeah, I'd much rather move on. While I am here, with that faith that I have, the strength and faith, I know that I'm here for a reason and for a purpose, and that helps me get through day by day. I'm here for a reason, and it's not necessarily to be famous or be wealthy or whatever. I'm here, to be a part of my family's life.